mi di mono miero o pogn luaki ko kiremeti biashara e ko pogn luaki ko kiremedo nyuke nena nyen di dogala yora papat me dong lo wame Uganda ke dato mi do nyutu tetta moti no wa terro e Lira University kanen e Roma papat me timo jamma polla papat so en cho herno na me timo war nyim e chane Lira University o chane Professor Celestino Bua ame obedo chiama na UNEP ke da obedo Vice Chancellor Chon me Mbarara University utio do loho ko loho tek matek minju ni mone kweda bedo gina pere tek ni kweda konyo menya yo ngej kedo he kweda konyo me influencing policy agamente kweda konyo me donyo kiteta papat bara yen na me wano monyo ni ne kede temi ya pore ko malaria kita me yen maria belo loha kede piano binu no ni maria no na ko kede color queen e ka do no mi donyo ro kede aka tesonet ginga gicha so mundu chuti bedo gina me kweda kele so te bedo ko bwani kweda bedo gina me pire tek twal ame miero wana me da kede maro kede do bedo gina me gamerte kede chena duan ye chane so Lira University kan wana bi no chena mar bod gamente around million mia beach e ko mi yotino kwan kede ponye mogo meti me kweda papat amane chane aduogi me kweda na chena me dongi gindo tu nyuti wa e chane ne tikan nan kede chairman me Lira University Council Mr. David Geoffrey Pio Kello tikere jokene council members kene bala Dr. Florence Bela utidan kede jo wele do ngapapata pola ametikan so birni na pira tek wal borwa
ka tempo yo wilwa kweda mena me kong Lira University tempo donyo keda me iti unu kere geni ramo konyi chobo peke moga meti yakina jo
ikwera tikana pola na machela me o miwange otino bedo bedo Ana Grace Uma amo bedo dean me faculty of midwifery kede timer gino donyo kede yore meneno ni mono mona yaj ka bini da hatal meneno neno gyo ko yoriot me po bala chawa so tati mi kwere met gine loni triage menen ni mono timo ikwere gini ene e Lira University Hospital tati mo gendang e referral hospital te donyo kede yore moga me miu ka da haya cho binu utima identify yoriot tena no pe hamero ko dango rechobo ko yoriot amani gini ikwere meno no ubino miu ikara me dong ministry me health tiam ya word me health award dere o luoni mono heroes of health award me Uganda eno bino lanya Uganda loro ame minister chiengta bino mi mod i munyonyo so be kwera pia tek twale kwera kena me dong tia me puru tia tia bedo ngara metia na kirme no handling ko pe me tuo me diabetes mono no bedo social professor o mech ame no timi kwera mere puda duga lo me Thailand kana no wore yema unyutu no ikwera mere na chada yerre so kirango na me utwero konyo kere jo me tike diabetes especially jo me do nutike tuo modo doha komgi me chao kene tuo modo doha ne dong ne hogi pedo diabetes na me ne hogi so ti kumi kwera dong kuongia papat kede mor tie social professor Mary Jang tiene no kita me mon tia me tie adonyo kere area me tela me lobo kede ngoa mo to me konyo mondang me donyo kana ler me chika kino me atami monda be kwera pia tek me pelare pien kamon udon ko chien lo petwer don so entiana no kerngo me mondang twer kar kana ler te be tela ipiping kede tela roma malu dushu so ikwera tia pola me tie wor nyim kanen
kodi gore ni en konyo university ni
gore ni konyo university achiate hate ha kome achiel me yelwange ni wan peuti kan kapti ka puonya ke kena manu bedo puonya wan ti uponyo gina me konyo lwak so research kubu wa kede lwak pien research kwanyo wa ko university terwa yakina lwak temi waneno peha me lwak tia neno kede peha me lwak tia beye e kata mi wadonyo kede ngono kita me miro peha ni miro chob kede so wan potro chob peha ni duj ed wan ka wan nu kana me peha ti ye otedo ter ngechwa ni bod gamente te ke donyo kede gina molo ni policy nyochik ame miro kirango no motor konyo kede ngono konyo kede lwak so en gina mi ikori guare ni per tek twal borro en pien kubua kede lwak kede mi wa unuo mi report me wan unuo yi kwere wa utedo chwalo dok chien bod lwak te niang ekare konyo ikelo dongo logo
those ideas into practice in order to make tangible the findings from research. Industry plays an important role. By the way, when we talk of industry, we are not only talking of Mukwano oil mill and so on. Industry can be you people in the press, it can be literary writers, it can be the church, it can be anything that is meant to generate products, tangible products that can be sold or commercialized. Now, I have said that in that process, there is another key player that must be brought on board, and that is government. Without involvement of government, that relationship will still not produce the kind of things we need. Because even if these research findings are translated into practice, who regulates and controls practice? It is government. So for it to bear true fruit, it must have three strands: government, industry players, and academia or university. And I talked of the triple helix relationship or model, which needs to be applied. Without the involvement of government, even if universities come with fantastic findings and they involve industry, for this to be translated to impact society, government must be involved.
Yes, maybe having government funding this, what kind of involvement do you mean? How best can government participate in implementing all these results?
You know, I talked about government regulating employment opportunities, regulating practice, regulating establishment of industries. Because you cannot come today and say, I want to build this factory here in Lira. It has to get blessings from government. The government has to, you have to convince government that if you construct this factory in Lira, it is going to have this impact for the community and for the country. So that's why it is important that government gets a buy-in. And from the time we begin to conceive ideas to conduct certain research, it is always very important to involve the policymakers. I say you need to talk to them at first. In fact, you can go to them and say, what can we do for you as university? And government can say, oh, we have this problem, can you investigate? The case of malaria, change of malaria policy I talked about, it was actually the malaria control program. Say, can you, university investigate for us how these drugs are performing in the community? Then we gave them the results. Then now they went into the politics of discussing who is going to fund it, when should we launch it, how are we going to import the drugs, how cheap is it going to be, and then educating the implementers who we are going to implement. It is the health practitioners. Again, they have to be educated on how they are going to implement this policy. So it is everything that must be done together. And then finally, I say, a true relationship between the three should end up with the establishment of what we call science parks. By the way, when we talk of science park, it doesn't have to be natural science. It can be political science. It can be anything. It can be, let's say, in the business field. You can have hubs where business ideas, exact ideas that are going to be demonstrated in this park, will be done in the university setup where industry and government have come together to work together.
Maybe lastly, what would be your message to the researchers outside there and the universities?
As a university, we know this is a young university, and we know that it is important for them to realize some of the things we talked about. One, working with many groups, multidisciplinarity. Two, you don't have all the answers. There are good answers out there which people can support you. And finally, I say, look, even when you get money from government, we say there are people behind the money. So if this money is coming from Honorable Musenel, if you make her come here and show her what you are doing and say, by the way, you have given us this, but we think we can get more if you give us more money. You are cultivating the funder. You are building a relationship with the funder. You're going to get more funding. Now I've said finally, the best form of sustainability for funding is getting endowments. And I say we have rich people in this country who have never shown that they can provide even the minimum endowment, even just 100 million as an endowment to our universities. It will change the research portfolio in this university.
Wow, thank you very much.
As the convener of this conference, the biggest reason why we should have this conference is because government, for the first time, has given university a grant for research and innovation. And research which has been conducted was based on the research agenda and innovation that the university has. And they were granted to academic staff and then the students. Now actually all of these grantees have conducted their research. So they need an opportunity now to show us what they have been able to gather. And they needed such a forum. And this kind of forum, as you have seen it, is not only about showing what has been produced. It is actually one way of influencing the community in which we are, including industry, to improve on the gains, what needs to change in our community for the benefit of the community. Yeah? So it is very fundamental, and we think this should be an annual event as long as we continue to have government supporting research agenda of Lira University.
In this particular one, after this conference, what will be next?
Okay, the most important thing is that the research is a continuous process. After dissemination, the researchers are going ahead to publish. Some of them are going to develop policy brief, focus their findings and share with key stakeholders. And out of this research, since the grants were small, many of them will now use this opportunity as a stepping stone to attract bigger grants from external funders, which has never been possible because we didn't have opportunity to have seed grants. But now they have got the opportunity. The finding they have is preliminary. So based on that, they are able to attract bigger grants, which will actually bring about a lot of transformation in our community.
Yeah, maybe on the research, was it health-based only or in other sectors as well?
No, there are several themes. Actually, health was one, education is another, gender issue is another, agriculture, environment, climate. There are so many research themes that we are focused. And many of these research themes, they are aligned to National Development Plan and then Vision 2040. Yeah.
Okay, look at maybe on the funding. Was the funding enough to carry on the research?
No. Actually, Lira University just got this fund for the first time last financial year. And we got the smallest 500 million. And out of this 500 million, we were able to fund 30 grantees. They may be small, but to us, it was actually very important for us to have a starting point. So now that many people have interest in conducting locally funded research, we expect that government, with the results that we have, they may increase the funding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
As you may know, the university is still relatively young. It has not been there for many years. It depends a lot on government funding, because for the university to do what it's supposed to do to meet the objectives of creating the university, establishing the university, we need money to be able to do many things, including research, innovation, and so on. So the university has been lacking appropriate staff. Recently, we recruited a number of staff, increasing the staffing levels from about 27% of established structures to about 40 now. And that's a good one, because when you have the staff, you have the professors, you have the lecturers, you have the administrators, then you can coordinate many things well, you can begin to do many things well. But if you lack people, it's hard to achieve anything.
Yes, as a growing university, having a research with such amount, is it a kind of a good gesture for the university?
I think as the associate professor mentioned, it is a very small amount for research purposes. 500 is a very small amount of money. So the duty of council is to do its best to look for more money, talk to government, Minister of Finance, and all those who are responsible for giving us money to increase that budget, so that when that budget is increased, we are able to do much, much more than we have been able to do. Because as the professor said, research is a continuous business. So as you were in the sessions, a number of them, some things have been done, new issues are rising up, so you need to do more research work to conclude some, to resolve some. So you need more money to be able to do that. And for the time being, it's only government that can give us that money. But also as our chief and not address speaker said, I think the opportunities to be able to speak to private people for some money, although this idea is not very natural to many people in an area where university is still not a very old institution, but it's something that we need to start. We need to start approaching some groups, some business people, so that even if they give us little money, that will be a start.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the professor said, look at the relationship, academia-industrial relationship.
Yeah.
What's the relationship of the university and other stakeholders outside there as far as research is concerned?
Okay, I would say that for now, the relationship between government and university, I think, is getting stronger and stronger. This is a public university, meaning that it is owned by the government. So there are a lot of linkages between the university and the government. What we need to do now as a university is to try to establish links with the private sector, with industry, with business people, commerce, and so on. Once we do that, then the issue of these leakages, what the keynote address speaker talked about, the helix. How did he describe it? Helix.
Yeah,
Triple layer. That coordination between the government, industry, and industry meaning everyone else who is doing some business, whether they are manufacturers, whether they just do commerce, whatever, or trade, whatever they do, that linkage needs to be strong, because the ones who do the business are the ones who generate a lot of money. They pay taxes to government, they make a lot of profit for themselves, so they're a good source. So if we can reach them together with the government one, then that will strengthen that relationship. And if we can begin to demonstrate to others from this, what we are seeing today and the next 3 days, that we have now started, these are the results, these are the outcomes of what we are doing. Others may be able to see now, oh yes, the university is doing something. Maybe we can look at them, maybe we can see what they are doing, maybe we can do something. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe lastly, as a university, how do you plan to implement these results? Do you have the capabilities or the resources enough to implement the results?
Well, the research work normally is done by one group. Now, it's a long cycle to be able to implement what you want to do, because you need to involve, as we are saying, government who are going to be the regulators. You need to involve people who are going to actually do the implementation. You need to incubate some of the projects. You need to do pilot projects and so on. So it takes a bit of time, and all that requires quite a bit of money. So depending on each type of research work that has been done, the outcomes, and those ones who we present to, who may be interested, then one can begin to see some move towards doing something that will lead to implementation of some of those outcomes.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Lango News channel. Please subscribe for more updates.